Hey guys, it's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today we're going to take a look at our player props using our NBA cheat sheet. This is going to be the first video I've done specifically for player props, but I'm going to try to get more of these done each day. So one of the things that I'm looking at on the NBA cheat sheet is first you have to understand how player props are built. A player prop is typically going to be really close to a player's current projection because it's built on an algorithm. So these sites like FanDuel, DK, MyBookie, THRIVE PrizePicks, they're basically pulling a player projection and then they may move it a half a point or a point, but it's usually really close to that. So where I've had a lot of success over this last month when I really start digging into player props is comparing a player's last 7 and last 15-day averages to their current projection. So the players that are currently killing that projection number over the last 7, the algorithm has not caught up for like the player prop or the projection, so that's one that we can exploit. So I've got a few today on January 5th that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. So that's a little explanation of how I'm coming up with it. So when you pull up the NBA cheat sheet for today, you can see, as always, we got all of our tabs. There's 2 tabs specifically for player props. I use this prop tab, and you can click here and you can go game by game, and you can see the players' projections, their last 7 and their last 15-day averages, the opponent DVP, and then my favorite, the PRA, points, rebounds, and assist props, what they've averaged. And if you're on PrizePicks specifically, I've broken down the PrizePick fantasy points per minute based off their projection, what they've averaged last 7, what they've averaged last 15. So if you're good at NBA minutes and you know that somebody's going to get more than what they're projected at, you can use this to calculate a better total for you and get an advantage. Now, I've already flipped through a lot of these and found some players, but over here, this last 7 tab, this is one of the player prop ones that I really like. So basically what we're looking at, it was revamped for today. So like for points, just raw points, we've got what they're averaging the last 7, how many games they've played, what their current projection is, and our key column here's the difference. So we're going to look at points, we're going to look at rebounds, we're going to look at assists, points, rebounds, assists together, 3-point shots made, and then over here we've got some bonus stats, blocks, steals, kind of a middle of the road projection, and then the current projections pulled off to the side. So when I very first opened this up of a morning, now I have a few players over here highlighted that we're going to talk about. Don't pay attention to those. I go to this points, rebounds, assist column, and I sort largest to smallest by difference because I want to see just across the board who is doing a lot better. Now the first guy, Farie Simmons, he had the one game where he exploded. He'd only hit like 1 3-pointer and he hit 7, 8, or 9 in this game. And he's projected about 29. He's up to 53, but it's one game. I know it's a one-off, so I'm going to kick him out. Trey Young's another guy to look at. He's projected about 41.2, and I don't believe he was up yet. Yeah, they don't have him listed yet. So he's been averaging in the 2 games over the last week 62. So that's one that I want to take a look at. And then going down this list, so we're going to find some players. We're going to take a look at them. I'm going to give you 5 or 6 that I like today. And then I've got DraftKings pulled up. I'm going to use this to go through the game logs. So a player we find on the sheet that we like, we're going to dig into the game logs and kind of take a look at it and see, was it one massive game and then 3 dud games, or is he consistently doing something? I've got MyBookie pulled up and the props builders, what I'm using to pull up the lines because we can move them around. I will put a link for a referral in the description. If you do not have an account and sign up with our link, I'll give you 3 months in our premium group. But we'll put that in the description. And then I'm also going to take a look at Thrive. And then I can't pull PrizePicks up on my computer, but we will talk about those. I've noted 3 props that jump out at me this morning. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So when I pull the points, rebounds, and assists, and I scroll down here looking at these different players. So Trey Young's not out yet. Jaylen Brown looks good, but Jason Tatum should be returning. So that's going to kill some of his numbers. So I want to avoid that. Josh Jackson wasn't up. And then these are the minutes last 7 and minutes projected. So these 3 guys right here, you want to be careful. They're averaging, 18.8 to 23.9 minutes, and they're projected about the same, a little less. So not a lot of minutes. That's kind of risky for some points. Garrison Matthews kind of in there, but he doesn't really get me excited. scrolling down, the first guy that comes up that I really noted was Bay for Detroit. So he's projected at 39 minutes. He's averaging 42 over the last 2 games over the last 7 days. And what I'm looking at is right here. So his last 7 points, rebounds, and assists, he's averaging 43.5, which is phenomenal. And he's projected about 30.8. So this is what his current projection is. So we could say he's averaging 12.7 points, rebounds, and assists over his projection. So that's about 30% more. So I want to go ahead and kind of take a look at Bay. So we got him pulled up. The first thing I'm going to look at are points, rebounds, and assists. And like we said, his projection is 30.8. Well, they've got him here at 31. So if you notice, this says at least 31. So 31 is a win. So they've got it at over 30.5 is how I'll read it. And we can kind of move this around. We can go 32 and get minus 110, get a little bit better money. But let's look at his game logs real quick, because that's the second thing we want to do if we find a favorable line. So looking at his game log, he's been on fire. Points alone, he's got 34, 21, 32, 23, and 23, 15, 26. So he's constantly putting up low 20s and even getting into the mid 30s. So a player like this that has a points, rebounds, assist where I can get it around 30 and he's scoring that many points alone on some games is phenomenal. And then take a look at his rebounds. 8, 17, 9, 8, 10. I mean, he's killing it. Assist, he throws in 1 to 3. He's got a couple 4 and 5 games. But if we look at the points, rebounds, and assists, so this last game against Milwaukee, which was a tough matchup, he had 34, 38, so he ended up with 46 here. Had 17 rebounds against the Spurs, so that's 20. That's 41 there. And then there's 9, 12, 32, 42, 44 there. So he has 3 games in the 40s, and his number here is 32. So if you want to get crazy and go 38, which is over 37.5, you can even crank this up to plus 173. Wherever you feel comfortable with your risk reward, I don't mind a straight bet. You could even put 40 on here and get double your money. Now, this book won't let me parlay points, rebounds, assists, so these are straight bets. But even if we go 34, you can get plus 116. That's pretty good. If your book does let you parlay it, you can drop it down here to like 25, which is almost a lock, and then put that in. So we're going to go through. And now I want to take a look at something that I can parlay while we build our cards. So first thing I do is I look at points, and he's got 21. And then he's been putting up kind of about that. What worries me about this, though, is he's got 21, 23, and 23. And then let's look at some assists. Assists, he gets 1 to 3, so that's not really that good. Rebounds is pretty good. So over 7.5 is plus 100. And he's got 8, 17, 9, 8, and 10. So I like that to go over his rebounds. I think that's a good number there. And you can even take this down to 7. So it's over 6.5 at 196 if we want to build a parlay. But let's keep it pretty decent. Let's see, do we want to go rebounds or points here? Let's go rebounds just while we're building this, and then you guys can decide if you want to do points. So we got Bay, at least 8 rebounds, plus 100. I like the odds there based on what he's been doing. That one looks pretty good for me, so let's go on. Let's find another player. So scrolling down this points, rebounds, assist, I get down through some of these. Vanvleet, he doesn't do a lot, so his points are what jump out at me, and we're going to take a look at that one. But like rebounds, he's been under his current projection. Assist, 7, and he's projected at 6.7. So those are just kind of so-so. They don't really jump out at me. But the reason this number is jumping out is because of his points, because he's a pure scorer. So we're going to take a look at that one. But first, I want to look at Kuzma. So, and he's kind of the same way, but he does pick up a lot of rebounds. So he's projected at 35.9 points, rebounds, and assist, but he's averaging 45.7. And he's got 3 games over the last week. And then his points is also another advantageous spot that we can take a look at. So let's go ahead and pull up. And I believe he was up. Yep. So his line's posted. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at points, rebounds, and assists. And we got 33. So let's look at his game logs. So looking at Kuzma's game logs, he's got points alone, 36, 29, 25, 22. And we're getting, and we're getting 33 on points, rebounds, assists. That's pretty good. I mean, he's almost getting there in points the last 3 games. And the last 3 games, look at his rebounds, 14, 12, 10. So if we look at the PRA number, we have 36 points plus 6 assists, that's 42. And then that's 56 when we add in the rebounds. So he had 56 last game. And then 29, 32, 34, 35, 45. Then he had 45 this game. And then here, this one's an easy 25, 35, 37. And then here he had 32. So he's had 32, 37, and then massive numbers. So if you're doing a parlay, you can drop this down to like 20. Well, 25 is a little much. Let's bump it up a little bit. If you want to do a safe parlay, maybe do 28. I try to follow this and see where the money significantly jumps. So that's not bad there, going from 400 to 323. So this would be over 29.5. That's what I would put in for a safe parlay. But I mean, he's coming off a 56 and constantly hitting this. So I want to get something with a higher payout. So let's look somewhere here around 40. So let's say he has around roughly 25 points, 35. So 40 might be a little ambitious. And I want to try to keep this around plus money so we can get a good payout. 38's not bad. 36. So let's do this. Let's go over 35.5. So let's do... So, and I apologize. I can't parlay these. I forgot that. So I would use this as a straight bet and find something plus money and do a wager on it. So for our parlay, let's go ahead and take a look at points. So points, 36, 29, 25, 22. We got over 21. I love that. Let's look at rebounds. Rebounds, 9, 139. And he's had... What worries me is he's had a 10, 7, and a 10, so he's not really killing it. So I'm going to defer back over to points for him. And then we've got 21 points. He's averaging way over that. Let's see what it is if we drop down. So that jumps to 185. That'd be over 19.5. Just FYI, PrizePicks has Kuzma's points at 19.5. So here, over 19.5 is minus 185. You can pretty much get that on PrizePick for just a normal PrizePicks for a normal selection. So just FYI, they have a very beneficial line to it. I'm going to put it at 22, so that'd be over 21.5. So let's go ahead and add him. That's not as good as PrizePicks, but, you know, hit and miss. We're going to kind of do what we can. Next one we want to go look at. So that's kind of how I flip through these. Now I'm going to go through. Now I'm going to go points, rebounds, and assists and just kind of work my way down and see. I'm looking down for the differences and the people that jump out. So like this, Farie, it was one game. Trey Young, I like him, but his points aren't up yet. This guy doesn't play enough minutes for me. Jaylen Brown, I'm worried about Tatum's return and what that's going to do to his projection and recent numbers, because his numbers are skewed because Tatum's been out the last week and he's been killing it. So the next guy on my list is Vanvleet. So you can see his rebounds and assists are about the same. His PRA number jumps, but it's basically because of these points. He's averaging 33 over the last 7, which is 3 games. And he's projected at 20, so I'm really interested in this one. And I actually killed a prop last night. About 15 minutes before game time, I looked, and Vanvleet was over 21.5 on one of my smaller books. So I smacked it for 100 bones, just put it on there. And I mean, he had that just after halftime. I think he ended with like 33, but it was a no-brainer. So when we're looking at Vanvleet, so he's projected at 20.3, so I would expect his points to be somewhere around 20-21. And let's see what they're at. So we're going to go to points. So 23, so they bumped it up a little bit, so they're getting kind of savvy. So it was at 21 yesterday. Well, you can add that for 196. Let's go look at his game log real quick. All right, Vanvleet game log. So he was out here. So we're looking at these 3 games. He played 12/31, January 2nd, January 4th. Minutes are good. Shots are good. Shot percentages is good. But he's got 31, 35, and 33 points. I'm going to ride this train until it catches up. This to me is a no-brainer. So I can get over 22.5 for about a straight wager, minus 123. that's not too bad. But for our parlay, we want to crank it up and get something, a little better. So let's see where we can get when we take this money up. And I don't even mind going, all right, so 25's plus money. Now, see, if I'm going to do a straight bet, I'd probably do something like 30 and get plus 200. Hit that for a straight bet, because a lot of these, you'll hit a few of them, but at plus 200, you don't need to hit that many to win. So let me see. 24 is 109. What's his matchup look like? Going up against Milwaukee. Should be a somewhat high-scoring game. I like that over 23.5. I think that's pretty fair, so I'm going to go ahead and add that to our parlay. So right now we can see we have Bay at least 8 rebounds, so over 7.5. We got Kuzma over 21.5 points. And then we got Vanvleet over 23.5 points. And right now we've cranked this up to plus 664. So Kuzma's probably my least favorite one. So even at these two, it's going to give us a good payday of like plus 250. But let's keep going. Let's add all the games we like in there and just see what we can get. So Vanvleet points is a no-brainer. Look for it on your normal book. And I think PrizePicks has him at 21.5. So PrizePicks is going to even have a better advantage there. And what did we say this was? Okay, yeah, so to get down to a normal even money pick, we're over 23.5. PrizePicks has 21.5 for Vanvleet points, so I like that. And then the Kuzma points we took a look at. Bay we looked at. So let's go on to rebounds. Let's take a look here. Rebounds, one of the guys who jumps out, the very top guy is Pascal Siakam. And so he's projected about 9.7. He's averaging 15. So that's one thing that jumps out at me. So let's go ahead and just take a look and see if he's up. So Pascal, we're going to look at rebounds. So 9. So he's projected at almost 10. So you get minus 143. If you do go to 10, you get minus 119. That's not bad. It's not terrible. I wish it had better odds. When you get down here to over 7.5 minus 196, that's probably what I would put in a parlay because I feel better with that. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the DVP. So Toronto's playing Milwaukee, so I want to take a look and see how the forwards and centers are doing for rebounds. So they're averaging 10.8 to the power forward, 14.3 to the center. Rebounds overall, 46. Not a great matchup. Kind of a middle of the road, but Siakam, let's go take a look at his game log. Maybe we'll just add him in here and see if we can just get a crazy, stupid big parlay. So rebounds, 12, 14, 19, and prior to that, 6, 6, 8. So what do you notice about these last 3 games? Vanvleet's been back, I know, at least 2. No, he's been back all 3 games. So when Vanvleet's been in the lineup, he has 19, 14, and 12. Tougher matchup, but over 8.5. Let's go over 8.5. Let's throw that in there. And you can manipulate these if you want to go a little bit different. But the reason I've got that, or the reason I found that one is just right here. We're looking at the difference column once again. He's averaging 15 per game, 3 games over the last week, and he's projected at 9.7. Gallinari, they didn't have up. A lot of these guys are low-minute guys. Jaylen Brown, we talked about. Naz Reid doesn't play much minutes. Towns is coming back. Marcus Smart, he might be another one that I take a look at. But again, Tatum's coming back. Bay, he's another one. We looked at his rebounds. He's projected at about 9, but he's averaging 12.5. But again, that's kind of a tight number, so be careful with those. So let's go ahead and take a look at assist so you guys kind of get the idea of what I do every day and I'm looking through in the morning. So Josh Giddy, it's only 1 game, so I'm not really going to worry about him. They didn't have a line on him. But Draymond Green, if you follow NBA at all, you know he is just a monster assist guy. So he's someone that I definitely want to take a look at. So let's go ahead and take a look at his game log. So he's been out for a while. But look at his assists, 13, 10, 9, 10, 8. And then they kind of tailor off. But, I mean, last year, I used to bet Draymond Green assist on PrizePicks every day. That was just one of the lock cards that we did. But 10, 9, 10, 13, last 4 games. Coming off of a 13 is just phenomenal. I mean, that's what he's known for, is assist. So it is only 1 game, but it's someone that I know just from past experience. He typically runs that 8 to 10 Well, he's projected at 7, so I'm really curious to see what his line is. And let me see if I wrote down. So Draymond Green on assist for PrizePicks was 8.0. So I like that because 8, they give you the push. And so here we've got 9. And this wouldn't be a bad one for a straight wager. So on PrizePicks, they've got 8. And it would be a push. Here, 8 is a win, but it's minus 200. So once again, PrizePicks has a good line. So I would look at a 3-man PrizePicks card. A Vanvleet points over 21.5. Kuzma points over 19.5. And then Draymond Green assist over 8. Those are the first 3 that jumped out at me this morning. But Draymond Green to get some good. See, there's a huge jump here. So minus 200 to plus 112. I'm probably going to just, let's do a stupid crazy parlay. Let's do Draymond Green over 8.5 assists plus money. Let's put that in there. So we like that one. I don't think anyone else really jumped out at me. When you get here and they're like 2 to 3 different, I don't really look at that a whole lot unless there's a significant change in something. Like, for example, Dennis Schroeder, he's projected less minutes, so don't worry about him. 3-point shots made. Let's take a quick look at that one. So Farie, he was one. I want to show you just kind of why I kick him out. So Farie, 3-point shots made. You're going to see one game. He's projected at 3, but he's averaging 9 on that one game. But if we look at his game log, we can easily throw it out. So we're looking here at his 3-point shots made. So he was 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 2 for 4, 4 for 6, 1 for 6. Had a big game, 0 for 2. So typically he really does not do well. He's 0 to 1 3-point shots made, but then suddenly against Atlanta, he shot 16 of them and made 9. So he just absolutely exploded. So that's a one-off scenario, and he hasn't been anywhere near that, so that's not one that I would get on. But let me see if they've got a line on him. Just out of curiosity, I want to look and see what his 3-point shots made are. So yeah, you have to pick 4 at plus 127. 3 minus, I would like an under there. That's stupid. I think they made that line bad. But yeah, some of these other guys like Trey Young, they didn't have him out yet, but he's projected at 2.6. He's averaging 6 in the 2 games that he's played. Let me see if they've put it up yet. Nope. But typically, it'll come up later on. But that's kind of how I go through and find some of the ones. Now, without looking at the sheet, some of the other players that kind of jumped out at me that I want to take a look at. So Wiggins is one who has been doing really well, and he just kind of shows up as a hot player on here. So let's take a look at Wiggins and see what we got. So Wiggins, points, rebounds, assist. So PRA, we got 24, and then that's going to break down to 18 points, 2 assists, or 3 assists, 5 rebounds. So 18, 3, 5. So he's been over the 18 points pretty handily, for the last 5 games. The last 4, he's been 21 to 27 points. Rebounds, kind of right in there. Assist, kind of right in there. So I don't love the PRA number. What's this, 22? That's 32 last game, 29, 30, 35, and his line is 24, so I guess that's not bad. See what it is. We go 28. Yeah, so 24 is not bad. I mean, he's almost got that in points alone, and then 10, 4, 9. He gets 5 to 7 more rebounds and assists, so I don't mind Wiggins as a straight play. Points, let's go ahead. What's our parlay at? We're plus 2,500 right now with these, so let's go ahead and put Wiggins in there. Why not? Who's he playing? Dallas. All right, so that should be a somewhat decent scoring game. So 18 minus 108. I feel pretty good with our parlay so far, so I just want to get some extra juice in here. So I'm going to do over 14.5 points minus 357 and see what that does. So that takes us from 2,500 to plus 2,800, and I feel pretty good with that leg. So let's go ahead and add that one in there. One other guy I wanted to look at. Well, we already looked at Siakam. But speaking of assists, Luka, he's back, so he's only got 1, maybe 2 games under his belt, so he's not really going to pop a lot on the sheet. But look at his assists, 10 and 15 these last 2 games. And then prior to that, he had 9, 7, 9, 7, 14, 10, 10, 9. So he's a good guy to look at for assists. So let's go ahead and put him on here, see what Luka's got the assist at. So 9 plus money, so over 8.5 plus 108. And he's got 15, 10, 9, 7. So he's been over it in 4 or 5, so I don't mind that. So let me knock this down here. Let's say, boom. All right, so that's a huge jump, 455 to 222. So I would probably take this, depending on how we want this to pay out. Yeah, let's go over 7.5. Let's really crank this up and see what we can do. So that's going to put us at, oh yeah, that goes from 28 to 42. So this is 4,200, 42 to 1. So $1 pays 42, $10 pays 420. And so the one that we built is going to have Bay over 7.5 rebounds, Kuzma over 21.5 points, Vanvleet over 23.5 points, Siakam over 8.5 rebounds, Draymond over 8.5 assists, Wiggins, we went safe over 14.5 points, and then Luka over 7.5 assists, and that pays 42 to 1. So that's an exciting one to take a look at. Now, prize picks I kind of went through as we were going since I can't pull it up and told you the ones I like. So far, I like the Vanvleet, Kuzma points, Draymond Green assist, Luka assist. I would also take a look at that one, and then Siakam rebounds. Now, when you pull up Thrive, let's go ahead and take a look at that. I have not looked at Thrive yet, so I didn't have anything prepared for this, but we've kind of went through the players that we like, so let's go ahead and take a look at how I run through Thrive. Now, what I like about Thrive is you can click on the player, and it will give you their last 5 game logs. So, for example, Sadiq, or however you say his name, Bay, 23.5 points and assist. So points, I mean, he's 23, 32. I mean, he's getting that in the points. He doesn't do much in assists, but he's getting anywhere from 1 to 5. So that's an over that I would lean on. Cade Cunningham, not real familiar with him. Rozier, Melo, haven't really looked at them. Beal, points and assists, 37.5 seems kind of high. Say he's at 43, 40, 39, 40. Okay, so that's not bad. You know, you could lean an over here with Beal, assist and points. I don't love it, though. Embiid, what's he do in the assist column? He's typically all points. That's a good line there. Wiggins points and assists, so this might not be a bad one. So he has 26, 29, 22, 29 in his last 4 games, and he's got 19.5, so that's not a bad over. Steph Curry points, 28, 23, 33, 46, 9. So he's kind of all over the place. Draymond Green, rebounds and assists. That's an interesting one. So rebounds and assists, you know, he's got 22, 21, or 21, 18, 14, 21, and his number's 15.5. That's not a bad over. Don't love it, don't hate it. And keep an eye on these because they change throughout the day. If they take too much money on one prop, like I pointed out, I think Vanvleet points yesterday, 21.5. It was gone within an hour, so I think a lot of people were hitting that. But just kind of scroll down, see what you like. Halliburton, he's another guy I want to go back and take a look at. Points, that's kind of a tricky one. I don't like his points. Fox, I love his points. He's really ramping up. So he came back here. He had 10, then he had 24, and then he had 30 last night. So he's really getting back into it. So I like that over 21.5. There's no Jimmy Butler tonight, so Tyler Hero is someone you can take a look at, see what he does with Butler off the court. I haven't done it, but that seems like a low number. Heck, let's do it while we're here. So Tyler Hero, so 18, 22, 16, 32, and anywhere from 8 to 15 assists. So that doesn't look like a bad line there on Hero over. Lowry assist, I think that's pretty good. 11, 12, okay. And so that's kind of what I like right now. So if I was going to do an early Thrive card, oh, you can't see the top of that, sorry. I would do something like this. Can you see that? So we got Bay over 23.5 points assist, Wiggins over 19.5 points assist, Fox over 21 points. That's probably what I would lean on right now. But anyways, guys, I post the cheat sheets for free in our free group. Links in the description on Thursdays. These are some of the player prop picks that I like, so feel free to bet them. If you're one of our subscribers, feel free to use the sheet and, find your own plays. I'm amazed at some of the stuff people can find digging through the sheets and looking at stats. And there's no right or wrong way to look at the sheets. If you ask 10 people, they're going to have 10 different processes on how they use it. So I'm going to try to do more of these player prop videos because they seem to be a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people that are into player props now that it's getting legalized across the United States. So follow us on Twitter at CheatSheetPros, and we'll talk to you soon.